Last thing that I want to cover as we get ready to wrap up the program, I'm going to share this clip with you about this body parts, market or something, street market for body parts. And I got some questions as to what's been going on here. Pay close attention to what they say in this clip. All right. Pay close attention to the words that they're using, although they're not telling you a whole lot, because it's classified as a secret investigation or whatnot. And they're not sharing a lot of information, but what is being shared, just pay attention.
Well, you've heard about people smuggling guns and drugs, but what about body parts? A federal investigation that began here in Detroit, now spanning into Chicago. Fox News' Amy Lang with the latest on a major raid connected to the case.
FBI agents raid a laboratory and crematorium in Schiller Park outside Chicago. The Biological Resource Center of Illinois deals with bodies donated to science, sending cadavers and body parts to medical schools and labs for research and training. Now they're under federal investigation for having business dealings with Arthur Rathburn, the former coordinator of the University of Michigan's anatomical donation program from 1984 to 1990. His business, International Biological in Detroit, was raided in December of 2013. An investigation into illegal body part training. That raid reportedly netting the remains of more than 1,000 different people. You can see International Biological is no more. This site shuttered. And then in April of 2014, the state of Michigan revoked the mortuary science license of Arthur Rathburn permanently. Nobody answered at the address on file for Rathburn, but the attorney from Biological Resource Center of Illinois is distancing their company from him, telling Fox 2, quote, as part of the ongoing investigation of two former Biological Resource Center of Illinois business associates, the federal government and state of Arizona investigators executed search warrants at Biological Resource Center of Illinois. We are aware that the two organizations have been under investigation for several months, and we are cooperating with authorities to better understand the issues and provide all requested information to assist in their investigation, end quote. Sources tell Fox 2 BRCI had sent body parts to International Biological in Detroit, and parts were returned to BRCI for cremation. It's not clear why an entire year passed before the FBI raided the Chicago business. An FBI spokesperson would only tell Fox 2 the search warrants for the site were authorized here, but filed under seal. In Detroit, Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.
Now, if you were paying attention to the words, a key piece of information was that Arizona is also involved in this. The reason that caught my eye or my ear, so to speak, is because you got a high population of non-white people. Arizona is on the border of Mexico, and you have a lot of immigrants coming across the border, seeking a better life in America. And so when I heard about them saying like body parts used for body parts training in Arizona, illegal body parts training. Now, why would somebody want, to practice, dissection or vivisection or whatever? Why would somebody train somebody to do that isn't in that field, that isn't a medical student, that isn't a doctor, that isn't a surgeon? Why would somebody want to learn that skill? Well, what about human organ trafficking? Does that come to mind? That, they say that they finding dead bodies in the desert because they died of dehydration and whatnot. And we know, human trafficking when it comes to, non-white immigrants coming across the border to America, being promised things by these, people who are trafficking them there. I wonder if some of these people are ending up dead on a slab somewhere and their organs being removed in Arizona. Again, they're not giving us a lot of information because it's under seal. And so all I'm left to do is to just take what's available and speculate. So admittedly, I'm just speculating off the evidence. And so then I'm looking at Detroit, high population of non-white people. Looking at Chicago, high population of non-white people. I recall when the Israeli doctors were kicked out of Haiti, being accused of harvesting people's organs. And I have done, several stories on cases. I've interviewed family members. I can't remember this one young man. They just opened up his case. It was in the state of Georgia, and he was found dead, rolled up in a gym mat. And then, come to find out that all his organs were taken, and he was stuffed, his body stuffed with newspaper, and the funeral home just doesn't have an answer for how that happened. There was another young man out of Louisiana. I can't remember his name, either. It's been about 2 years since I interviewed that family, but his organs were missing as well. And so that's what I'm thinking here. You know, I'm thinking here that all this stuff is a front for human organ trafficking. Again, why, if I'm not planning on going, if I'm not in medical school, if I'm not a doctor, why would I seek out to be trained on how to cut a human body up? Unless it is to harvest a person's organs. And so, you know, I'm thinking that's what has to be Arizona's, you know, connection to this is all of those immigrants down there, the immigrant community, the fact that it's on the border and a lot of people coming across that border. So, you know, I was like, wow. So that's why I thought it was important, about this story, to bring up, you know, and because I'm sure it's not going to make, you know, mainstream, although Fox News is not going to make national mainstream. They're not going to dig into it. They're not going to ask the questions about whether or not, you know, non-white people's organs are being harvested. And these two companies were at the center of this. Again, the federal government, state of Arizona, all of this is in secrecy. They're not letting out any information. And so all I'm left to do is to, you know, speculate on what information has been made available. I tell you, it's stuff that's going on, man, that a lot of people are totally unaware of. And I just want to point out that there are a lot of black women and girls missing in this country. A whole lot of them. Black and Missing has a page up on Facebook. I mean, never to be heard from again. What's happening to all these women? I'm not talking about 100. I'm not talking about 200. I'm talking about in the thousands. These, you know, over the years, the number just keeps getting larger and larger and larger and larger. What do you think is happening to these women? These people that's turning up missing. They're either being put into some sort of sexual slavery, or I believe, you know, it's quite possible their organs are being harvested. So again, you know, that is why it is always incumbent upon you to be totally aware of your surroundings out here. I remember my stepmom, married to my dad, when they were out, you know, driving across the country as truck drivers, team drivers, you know, and he was telling me, they were telling me how a group of men tried to abduct her at one of these truck stops. We have to totally be aware of our surroundings. People are watching us and we are totally oblivious, just ready to prey upon us, being unsuspecting. Again, I'm not trying to scare you, although you should be afraid. I'm not trying to ruin your quality of life. I'm trying to save your life. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm just reporting the facts and filling in the blanks that they are not filling in. So again, when you go out there into the world, leave the safety of your four walls, which oftentimes you're not even safe there. With this drug war and the excuse made to bust up in people's houses and murder them. But, yeah, not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to make you realize where you are living and that you are not safe and that you need to always be looking over your shoulder and prepared to defend yourself and defend your family and defend the members of your community. All right. And even if they look like you, do not let your guard down, because a lot of people that look like us will do some things to us for money. All right. So be suspicious of everyone, because I'm certainly, that's my policy. I'm suspicious of everyone. I trust no one outside of my immediate family. All right. So anyway, that's my broadcast. I will not be back on air until Sunday night, with an episode of Political Prisoner Radio. I will take this call. I'm sorry. Let me open up the phone lines, in case, the other gentleman who called in had some additional commentary, but we'll close it out after I take, these calls. Let me go ahead and unmute both of them, and I will go to 850. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, Brother Scotty, this is a sincere inquiry. We kind of build sometime on the Facebook, brother. I just was listening to your program, and first of all, I just want to commend you. Thank you for getting the information out to the family. And I just want to chime in. I was very interested in what you had to say on our article about the body harvesting, because I believe Dick Gregory had spoke on this a while back and brought it to our attention. And you mentioned about the young man in Valdosta, Georgia, Kendrick Johnson.
Kendrick Johnson. His name. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm here in Tallahassee, and that's like a couple of hours from here. But yeah, they found his body filled with newspaper. When the family, when there was a re-examination of the body. But I really think there's a number of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, hopefully, people like yourself, we get more information now and see what's going on. But number one is that we know that the black family, we have dominant genes. And so when you really want to test whatever they're trying to do out there, to really test to see what type of potency they have, we're the first ones they want to get to. You know, we can go back to Tuskegee Institute and how they, was testing those women and men.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, for that. But I think that that's one thing, medical reasons. I think another thing is genocide. You have, issues going on there with that. And also, these people want our body parts. I'm told on the black market that our organs are like top line, or top shelf, should I say, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that this has been going on for years, actually, selling our organs and our body parts. So I'm glad you're getting the information out. I would encourage your family, though, when your young people are signing up, I know in Florida, when you sign up for your driver's license, they ask, do you want to be an organ donor? Do not check that off. Do not be an organ donor. Do not be an organ donor, because you never know what kind of records you have, and you could be targeted simply because you are matched for somebody who needs some type of organ part.
Very valid point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that means that I'm going to have to uncheck that box when I go to renew my license, because I do have that on my license. It has like a little heart symbol on the North Carolina license. And so just to further expand upon that, it's like, okay, the work of Dr. Mutulu Shakur, where they in New York were allowing people who may have suffered from like overdose on drugs, and they weren't even trying to revive them. And so his work was based on answering these calls because the police wouldn't try to revive them. I guess that's why we could say nobody tried to revive Eric Gardner. I wonder if he was an organ donor. You know what I'm saying? And so that is a very valid point, and one I had not thought about, that, we could be targeted. Oh, He's an organ donor. All right. Stop trying to save his life. We got a lot of, we can make a lot of money with his organs. So yeah, I'm going to uncheck that box.
Yeah, certainly, man. This is, it's an all-out war, against our people in the sense, of just power, just afraid to equal the playing field because they know they equal the playing field, it'll be over for them. It'll be over for them. So just like you, I want the family to be aware, but we don't have to walk around being afraid, but you need to be aware and, act smart and have an approach of, counterattacks.
Yeah.
So, and that, the first thing we need is we need the information. So I'm going to close, say, man, thank you, brother. Enjoying your show. Hopefully I can catch you, more often. But I'm enjoying your show, man. Be encouraged, brother.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling in and sharing that crucial information, because I had not even considered that point of, I'm an organ donor. So, whether or not they might target me, but even if I'm in an accident and they see that, then they might not try to resuscitate me. They may not try to save my life. This sounds like crazy stuff. You will hear people think about it, but look, conspiracies do exist. They charge people with conspiracies all the time. And I just gave you a story where they're investigating this conspiracy involving human, body parts.